Hello, I'm Groucho, and today I'm going to be doing a reaction video to 1 million subscribers defining success by Ren. I've, in the last week, done a couple of reaction videos to Ren videos. I started with Hi Ren, and then I did the Tales of Ginny and Screech. And I've had a lot of comments and a lot of suggestions, and some of them have said, wow, you've really started with the heavy stuff, which I think is probably pretty apt. This particular video is one that was recommended as a really good next one to watch to learn more about Ren. So I'm looking forward to checking it out. I don't really know what I'm in for. I don't know what genre of music this is going to be. I recognize that Ren has a lot of different genres that he covers, that the videos that I've watched so far have been considered bardcore by some people. I don't know if this is going to be that. I suspect it'll be different. Before I start, I do want to say in the previous 2 videos that I've done, I've commented on the set pieces and the set design and the sets that he's worked on, and a lot of people have said, that's not a set, that's the real streets, and that's really, really cool. Honestly, I think that's fucking awesome. I will say if you're filming, it's a set, in my mind. Whether it's a real street or it's like a stage or whatever. If you're filming, it's a set. So that's what I mean when I say that. I don't mean that it's not real. I just mean that they're filming and it's a set and it's really cool. But I recognize now that Ren is an artist who utilizes what he has, or at least in the past. From my understanding that's accurate to his usage of locations, and I think that's really, really awesome. I'm such a fan of guerrilla filmmaking as a filmmaker who grew up in Austin, Texas, doing guerrilla filmmaking and being inspired by Robert Rodriguez and Richard Linklater, the guerrilla filmmaking that came out in the city that I grew up in. I have nothing but respect for that. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and dive into this video. I'm curious to learn more about Ren, and from my understanding, this video will help me do that. So here we go.
I want to keep this short and sweet because I wrote something that I want to share with you. But first of all, I just want to say how grateful I am. I've reached 1 million subscribers on YouTube, which is a flipping huge milestone. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who supported my music over the years, whether you're newly on board or have been here for a while. I wanted to say thank you to the YouTube reaction community who have gotten behind my stuff in a big way and really helped me reach this goal. So thank you guys.
It's really sweet.
Yeah, I wanted to read this passage that I wrote about success. It's too much for me to remember right now, so bear with me. But yeah, success to me means that I have a responsibility that transcends me. Mm-hmm. If I have a platform where people are paying attention, then I feel like it's my duty to make that count. Mm-hmm. It's far more important than my aspirations with music and what I could personally gain. There's a saying that stuck with me recently, which was a rising tide lifts all ships. Somehow, by finding success for myself has meant that I can find success for the people around me, and that makes me feel very rich. I'm in a very strange position right now where I owe much of my success to the most destructive force in my life, which has been the turbulence of my physical and mental illness. The thing that has by far brought me the most pain has been a source of constant inspiration, which ironically led to creations which brought me the most joy. Creating art which means something to somebody else and can potentially be a companion to somebody else in the dark justifies my own pain, and I desperately needed that to be justified. There are a lot of people alive today who live in the dark. It's a place that I'm very familiar with. In the peak of my health problems, I was severely underweight. All my meals had to be restricted and blended, and I was so tired that I couldn't participate in life. I couldn't socialize, I couldn't watch films, I couldn't read. My bones constantly hurt. Even standing in the shower was excruciating and exhausting. And this went on for years, with no answers. Nobody could have ever convinced me during that time that my pain and suffering would be a source for something good, because it felt insidious. Nobody could have ever convinced me that something constructive can come from hurting every day. But I'm here to tell you that if you are hurting every day, don't be afraid. One thing I know to be a certain, to be a constant law of the universe, is that life is inconsistent. Life is beautiful and life is hideous. Life is kind and life is cruel. Dancing inside this dichotomy and inconsistency makes me know that you won't hurt forever. Whether
Okay, so I wasn't expecting him to just talk. Um, and I realize I'm already about halfway through this video, so I don't know. I guess I was expecting something longer, but this is really touching me. I don't have a physical disability. It's my personal struggles are mental health, and I've talked about that in the previous videos a little bit. Um, but I'm not a stranger to autoimmune disabilities because my mother had 7 of them and ultimately died from them. And growing up watching the struggles that she went through and the steps that she had to take in order to live her life, and echoing that in the ways that I've had to take steps to live my life with the mental health struggles that I've dealt with as I've grown older. It's funny that this video is actually affecting me this much because I've watched his music, which you'd think would be even more profound than just reading what he's reading off of a paper or saying what he's saying. But it's really profound because I think a lot of the people who struggle with invisible disease, um, they don't talk about it. It's really hard to talk about, and it's always been, and it feels almost shallow to say this on this channel because what I put out there is like, look at me, I'm doing a ukulele cover, or look at me, I'm playing a video game and turning it into some challenge and trying to make it funny because comedy helps people relax. But ultimately, um, what matters to me is these conversations. And I really think that people don't have a complete grasp on how difficult it is to live this way. Um, I'm really happy that this artist who works so hard on his music and who clearly has put so much time and diligence and effort into what he does, uh, has been able to find a following and has been able to find people who can relate. And I know that there have been many commenters on my previous videos who have said things like, I wouldn't be alive if it weren't for Ren. Ren is the reason that I'm still here. And as dark as that is, it's also kind of beautiful. It's beautiful that there's this person who's suffered. Um, Not that suffering is beautiful, it isn't, but it's beautiful that there's this person that suffered who's taken that and turned it into something that has made other people feel like living is worth it. Because that's all we can really do. Um, it never stops, right? We're always just sort of here and experiencing and feeling and waking up and going to sleep and waking up and to have something like this that reminds us that we're not alone in the darkest moments is it's palpable for me watching this now, and I'm sure that that probably translates and Yeah, wow. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna back it up because I've said that that's something I'll do now. Um, but yeah, I just had to get that out.
Dancing inside this dichotomy and inconsistency makes me know that you won't hurt forever, whether that comes from resolution of what you're going through or acceptance of where you are. You won't hurt forever. You don't know yet whether or not your pain conceals gold. It definitely conceals wisdom, and it's definitely a catalyst for filling you with empathy. So stand strong, my friends, and don't let the darkness consume you, because once you know the dark and become intimate with it, you become very capable of wielding the light. You could be instrumental for changing this world for the better. There's nothing humble about shrinking or doubting yourself because you are large. You can be ferocious and you could be magnificent. For the medical industry, who too often let people fall through the cracks, it's your duty to do better. For the people living in the light, who have either stepped out of their shadow or have never had to walk beside it, it's your responsibility to put out untainted love. Our own greed, desire to ferociously expand, and decisions rooted in self-interest can benefit ourselves in a material sense, but can be very destructive to the hive and the world around us, ultimately hurting ourselves. So we really must consider that if we're going to step into a bright future. As humans, we have an incredible potential, and it would be a shame to throw it away. So community, humanity, and changing our relationship with the natural world so it leans more towards homeostasis must be a priority. Priority number one. If you're watching this and there's a knot tied up in your stomach with bitterness, anger, or hatred for your fellow human being, be with it. Feel it. Understand it. Express it. And then let it go. You're hurting. Give yourself love. Forgive yourself. And then project that love outwards and the anger will pass. We have a decision in every interaction to tilt the world towards heaven or hell, towards Jannah or Jahannam, utopia or dystopia, and some people's ideas of heaven will be another's image of hell. So tread carefully, but treat those differences with respect. Tapestries are made beautiful because of the variety in the sum of their parts. Thank you to 1 million people inside this rich tapestry for the opportunity for me to try and spread my own vision of what I believe to be good. And thank you for justifying my pain. Thank you. I love you.
I feel silly. Um, I feel silly crying over this one when I didn't uh have such an emotional reaction to the first that I watched. But this hits me because he's not telling a story. He's just being himself. He's not in character. He is Ren. It's really powerful. Which I keep saying. I've said it in every video that I've that I've reacted to so far. But I think the reason that it's powerful is because this is exactly the kind of thing that people don't do. I think that there's been kind of this misconception in my first couple of videos when I talk about artists or when I talk about mental health that it's this sort of, I don't know, exclusive club that only certain people feel things or that only certain people experience things when they witness media or when they experience life, and that's really not my that's not what I mean when I say what I say. And this video sums it up well. I, as someone who is a big fan of YouTube as a platform, and as someone who really appreciates the ability to just create and put out there anything that you desire, and for the potential and possibility for people to find that and connect with it or enjoy it or be distracted by it if that's what they need. Um I've seen a lot of videos. I've seen a lot of videos where people hit 100,000 subscribers or 1,000,000 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers, and they say thank you. And they say, wow, this is so exciting. I never expected it. And they say, I could never have gotten here without you. But this is, um, when I was 19, I made a movie. You can you can find it. It's out there. It's called Slight 2020. Um, Not the 2017 one, different company, but it's all about the experience of living with an invisible illness and the way that it can absolutely destroy your life if you let it. And Ren is very clearly a human who will not let what he's gone through destroy his life. And from my perspective, as someone who's experienced nothing but living with illness and being around people with illness and spending time in hospitals and spending finding out diagnoses and delivering medicine and pushing wheelchairs, all of these things. It's really is beautiful. Um, it really is beautiful.